Hello, my friends. What's happening tonight? Welcome to the Truthcast. I am David Snedeker. I will be your host tonight, and I am very happy to be with you all and to see your lovely messages flying across the screen and able to say hello, say hello to everybody. Good to see you all, and we are having some major things happening, aren't we, my friends? We're going to do things a little bit differently tonight. We are right now 440 some odd in the house. Please share this out. This is going to be a 1 hour or so segment. I'm going to try to keep it under an hour, and also we're going to, and I'm starting a little bit early, as you saw the 5-minute click. So we're going to start getting started a little bit earlier. Probably start right at 6:30. Maybe put the 10-minute timer on at about 6:20 at night. Jump right into it, and then we're going to have an hour segment, and then I'm going to close out. I'm going to shut down, and we're going to open up a second segment. Therefore, if you've been hesitant about sharing the show out because of the length of it, or sending it to certain people because of the length or the length of the show, you won't have to worry about that because we're going to do it in minimum of 2 1-hour approximate segments, and also, excuse me, and possibly a third segment depending on what's going on. We'll probably do a third segment tonight. So the first segment will be news, my monologue, some news, and then we'll get into Todd and Cindy will come on, and Todd and I will do a dive, and then the third will be just us kind of me going back through some of the news that we maybe did not cover. Okay, so thank you. I hope you guys like that idea, and Christy and I have been talking about it for a while, and then including Todd and Cindy on that, like, so we can get them in earlier because it gets so late. And yeah, good to see you, Jill and Norm. Good to see you all. And so let's get into the show, my friends. We are only at 586. Facebook should be public. We're gonna lose some of the Sneds because they're not used to coming in this early, right? And by the way, just a special hi to Bruce Poppy, who was on the show yesterday, kind of a Wednesday afternoon special. It was great to hang with you, Bruce, and thank you to all the Sneds who popped over to Bruce's Facebook page and said hello and friended and followed, and appreciate you supporting the folks out there that are trying to make a difference here. And okay, sent you an urgent email, Patriot in Need. I will check that out. Dave, can you bring your volume up, please? I am where we need to be from a technical standpoint. If you could turn your audio up a little bit, Stern. Yeah, I'm right where I should be on the clips of the notes. I'm right into the yellow. Maybe I could come a little bit closer. Let me see if that makes a difference there. Let me scoot up a little bit. All right. So, my friends, let's see. Okay. So let me get to some of the Sneds here. Dave, I have a friend whose son is a resident and seen weird things in teens with the jab. Please tell me which episode the German chemist was, please. Barbara or Christy, can you help Believin' in South Carolina, please, with that? Let's see if we can't figure that out, okay? Thank you. And let's see. Let's see. Kathy Bossy, we love whatever you do. Thank you. Appreciate that. Shorter with all the stuff happening. Basically, we need to get in and out. That's a good thought, but we do have to cover a lot in a short period of time. But we are going to. We want to make it shareable as well, so that we can get more information out to more people. Right? Awesome. Got your Snedheads t-shirt, Jennifer. That's awesome to hear. Hello, Michelle. Got my sweatshirts and mug. Love them, Cindy Ann. Thank you. Appreciate your support. Okay. Let's make it happen. Gina got your gear today too. Very cool. Todd says, okay, time for the next segment. Time's up. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're not used to short shows. So we'll pack a lot in, okay? Yeah, thanks, Jay. Yeah, absolutely. Shorter videos makes it easier to share. Because think about it, folks. We get, hey, Rocky, good to see you. We get anywhere from, about 1,700 to 2,100 live. And then we'll get anywhere from 20 to 30,000 by the next 24, 48 hours, and across all the platforms. And Jennifer can't share. It says you're restricted on Facebook. Sorry to hear that, but that's pretty significant in this day and age. So let's do it, and let me see. Okay. Let's see. All right, good. Hey, Jennifer says, my 21-year-old daughter is asking me questions about Q. Yay. Hey, we're getting some young folks in, checking out the show. Yeah, wasn't Barbara awesome the other night on her birthday? Yeah, she was great. Yeah, so great to see, excuse me, the young folks reaching out and asking about those kind of things. Very, very important topics. And the other thing is TikTok, and I want to thank Eric for putting up on the show last night. Eric put the last show of 2021, which I thought was a great idea because that was a great show, and we had some highlights of the year and some of the earlier shows and stuff. So for those of you, anybody check that out here. I saw several thousand views already, so thanks for checking that out. Someone said National Guard in 48 states to help at hospitals. We're getting a lot of National Guard being called up. We're checking on that, Deborah. Thank you. That was predicted, right? And we thought, remember back in the day, we thought that it was going to be very much about the riots because the National Guard was being called up. But remember, then we were surprised because Trump wasn't forcing the National Guard. He was saying, the governors, if you want to do it, you can do it. But he wasn't like forcing it upon them at all. And so, but now Biden's calling them up, and the states are calling them up, and to help with the COVID because they had to lay off all. So here, Q, all that stuff we were reading about Q with the National Guard call-ups in 12 cities and so forth. Here we are again with the National Guard being called up. Who saw that coming? Julie says, David, great turnout tonight in my small town in Massachusetts to fight mandates at local Board of Health meeting tonight. Very encouraging. The tide is turning. Isn't that awesome, Julie, to see that kind of thing happening? So well done. So glad that you went there and that you are bringing your passion and your love for your community to share with others, right? And how amazing is it now, folks, that people that were afraid to share this kind of thing, just a year ago, 2 years ago, is basically they're speaking out. They're going to these events. They're going to these marches. People that you never thought you'd ever see at a march are marching. People that you'd never thought you'd see at a school board meeting are going to school board meetings. People that you never thought would go to a town council meeting are going to town council meetings. Why? Because we're at the precipice. And Q said, only then will humanity engage in the process. Cheers, everybody. Hey, let's check our coats. We got 979 in the house right now in the Sned Shed. If you're new, please let us know. We'd love to say hello and introduce you to others in our community. You are among 1,000 beautiful, beautiful souls that are reaching out, doing research, getting involved in their communities, getting involved in their elections, getting involved with their family members, getting involved with their friends, and trying to share with them the truth that has been hidden from us by this satanic cabal and their propaganda media. So let's check our coat. So we have a process here. If you're coming in to the Sned Shed here, it's nice and warm, nice and cozy, my friends, and you're coming in out of the cold. And we only ask that you imagine as you come in with this big, heavy coat on, that coat represents your ego, your indoctrination, all the things that have been dumped upon you your entire life. And by the way, all the trauma too, okay? Like, you don't need to bring your trauma everywhere you go. So this is one of the things that I haven't really talked about, but you can imagine all the indoctrination and all the trauma that you'll never completely, dissolve away, but it's certainly, you can set it aside, because there's so much that we need to learn from that trauma. But imagine just taking that coat off and checking the coat check at the coat check, checking the code at the coat check, grabbing a claim ticket, and everything's safe at the coat check. Everything's safe. It's protected. You can grab it on the way out. But we just check our coats, and then we grab a snack, grab a drink, grab our favorite person, our favorite pet, and our favorite you, and come on in. Let's download some really important information that we can use to navigate these waters. Cheers, everybody. All right, let's get into it. My friends, there are never before in human history have there been so many incidents where we've had to see where people stand. Like where they're definitively saying, I stand here. And you can definitively say, I stand here, right? Because it was all kind of like melded all together. Like, some people you'd agree with one thing and the other, but because you didn't bring up politics, or you didn't bring up religion, or you didn't bring up these things in its parties and so forth, sex, the whole bit, is that we never really talked about the things we needed to talk about. So what I'm saying now is, if you look at the situations, if you look, for example, at the Supreme Court today, okay, and I'm going to get right into it, my friends, because this is I'm going to have, this is going to be part of my monologue here, and that is that the Supreme Court. And let me read President Trump's. Well, let me start here. I'll open up the show notes, and then I'll have my monologue woven in. The indoctrination, folks. If you want to go to the show links, you can find me always at linktree /David Snedeker. That's linktr.ee /David Snedeker. Tomorrow's headlines tonight on the Indoctrination with David Snedeker, where the news unlocks the map. Opening segment, SCOTUS split decision. HRC Andrew is now a regular Joe. Sneaky demon rats try to hijack voting rights. And then the second segment will be Drops Decodes with Todd and Cindy. Show contributors, Marianne Simone, Jen Davis, Cameron Bowen, Gabrielle Lakotas, Christy Kilburn, Anastasia Shields, Carrie Becker, Chris, Brenda Kung, Judy Harden, Jim Rice, Betsy Jones, Nancy Sutherland. Thank you all for your contributions. Thank you, Nancy and Kathy Guzzo, for an incredible training last night with 7K. I got to talk with Rob and get those on the website so you guys can go and see our training calls Wednesday night and Saturday morning. Fantastic stuff, and we're going to change a lot of people's lives, my friends, with this 7K. I promise you, with our Patriot Silver team. President Donald Trump today, the Supreme Court has spoken, confirming what we all knew. Biden's disastrous mandates are unconstitutional. Biden promised to shut down the virus, not the economy, but he has failed miserably on both. And mandates would have further destroyed the country. The economy. We are proud of the Supreme Court for not backing down. No mandates. Okay? Now, so what happened basically is that the Supreme Court said that you cannot mandate private businesses, okay? You cannot mandate them to take the jab. Okay, let me get rid of this. Sorry about that. And so by saying that, then we know that they're doing their job. And if they didn't mandate if they didn't stop the mandate from the private businesses of 100 plus employees, okay, then they wouldn't have done their job, which was to abide by and protect the Constitution of the United States of America. Now, there's a lot of people will tell you that we haven't been under the Constitution of the U.S., of the original 1776 Constitution and Bill of Rights, that we've been under a doctored 1871 Constitution that isn't legally binding. So that's why so many of our constitutional rights are being eroded away. And so, but whether or not you take that into account doesn't matter in this particular scenario, because the Supreme Court has to at least pretend that they're upholding the original Constitution, okay? And there have been a few situations where they haven't done that. But they're doing it here with this particular situation with the mandate, okay? They heard the oral arguments on January 7th about the two separate mandates, and they're trying to say it's an emergency basis, right? An array of business groups, along with Ohio, Missouri, Louisiana, and two dozen other states, asked for the federal mandates to be blocked. So you have 24 states plus, okay? So that's more than half of the states in this country, unless you use Obama's numbers of 53 states in the United States. And so you have more than half. So we're not really united, are we? Well, that's how the founders wanted it. If your state wanted to go be different than other states, you could, okay? But you also have to abide by the Constitution. The ruling allowing compulsory vaccination of healthcare workers is a terrible decision that is going to result in people dying, Robert Henneke of the Texas Public Policy Foundation told the Epoch Times. The Supreme Court voted 6-3 to block the mandate issued by OSHA Finding the challenge to it was likely to succeed. The rule forced employers with at least 100 employees or most of the nation's private workforce to subject their employees to vaccinations aimed at preventing COVID or regular testing to detect it. Okay. So all Republican appointees on the high court, Roberts, Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Comey Barrett, were in the majority in the court's opinion in the National Federation of Independent Businesses versus the Department of Labor. Administrative agencies are creatures of statute and possess only the authority that Congress has provided, the majority opinion states. The Secretary has ordered 84 million Americans to either obtain COVID-19 vaccine or undergo weekly medical testing at their own expense. This is no everyday exercise of federal power. It is instead a significant encroachment into the lives and health of a vast number of employees. It is not an occupational hazard. COVID-19 can and does spread at home, schools, sporting events, and everywhere else that people gather. The opinion continues. All the Democratic employees, Breyer, Kagan, and Sotomayor, would have allowed the mandate to go forward. Okay, so think about that. This is a violation of our First, Fourth, and I want to say, is it 12th Amendment? And these liberal justices, which, let's face it, at this point in time in the game, we know that these people are compromised, right? Like, we know they've got stuff on them. And we know how the cabal does it. We know the cabal does it in a way that is, we're going to get you having sex with a child. We're going to videotape it, and we're going to hold it over your head for all the world to see if you don't do as you're told, right? So this is, somebody says 14th. If somebody would look up the other one, is it the 10th Amendment, I believe, is the states, right? And find out. By the way, everyone should know this. I believe there are three that are violated, three rights that are violated in the Bill of Rights. If you could find out which ones, please do that homework. Okay. Let's see. Kevin Hall, will you do me a favor? Bring up that question when we come back with Todd, because I'd love to go over that with Todd. Okay, a great question, by the way. And so, so the commie judges would allow prison for no vax, right? So we know they're controlled. We know the court is controlled, and this is one of the reasons why Q has said that military is the only way, because every other organization is corrupt, right? And you've heard it. Christy had an epiphany, and we talked about a little bit about how we have it all. Okay, we have it all. And Q has said that several times, and we think that the reason that Q has said that is because of the NSA. Admiral Rogers was the one that came over and told Trump he was being spied on. We think that the NSA is working with military intelligence in this sting operation, and we know that it's going to. We have everything. We have all the information that they have, right? So the 10th Amendment says that if it isn't specifically written as a federal jurisdiction, it is a state responsibility. Education falls under that. Yes, Tricia, absolutely. Thank you for that. And so, but that's more that the state can decide, and it's not for the federal government to impose, right? Outside of what they can already do, right? And so, let's see. So the NSA collects all digital information, right? So The other thing is they can't test us, can they? They can't, like they can't enforce the mask, and they can't enforce testing on their employees. But they did go so far as to say that there must be, if the medical establishment that take Medicare and Medicaid are that they can force the vaccination there and force the testing there, right? And again, folks, if you need some resources, okay, the INdoctriNATION.com, okay, and then go to, or this is the shop, folks, if you want to go there and get some Snedeker, that's awesome. But let's go home here. And if you go over to the hot zone, you've got the resource file right here, okay? Please click on that if you're having issues from work forcing you to do it, schools forcing you to get the vax. Please use this. Please use this. Make yourself familiar with that document, okay? And so, yeah. And let's see. So the 10th is about the states, but there's also an individual one that I think is 12th or 14th. Would somebody look that up for me, please? Let me see. Okay. Now, let me see. Yeah, the court allowed the lawsuits to continue in healthcare against the mandates specific to healthcare. Yeah, exactly. Red Fly Fisher, Pennsylvania to Oklahoma City this month. Big move. We thought about Montana. Beautiful. Hey, congratulations. That's huge. That's very big. That's very exciting. All right. Jonette, where's the information to get on the 7K Metals meeting? Well, if you go here, just be on our list, and all you have to do is go to Patriot Silver, click on that, and fill out this information, and Nancy will either give you a call, or you can just say, hey, I want to know about the next meeting. And then you'll get an email that Barbara sends out, all the emails to everybody, let them know what's happening. Okay? So thank you for that. So so my friends, so what we're seeing here is we are seeing the ones that are not abiding by the Constitution, and we're seeing the ones that are, and it's very, very exciting. And if you want to see more about this Supreme Court ruling, you have this one about the National Federation of Independent Business against the Department of Labor. You have the whole thing here if you want to do your research into this. And then you also have that they're going to allow this continuation versus the states when they're talking about that if you work for Medicare or Medicaid funded institutions that you have to get vaccinated or you have to get tested. So they're keeping that going. Okay. So this is very exciting because we're really getting an idea of what these people are doing. And let me get to this. And they're being exposed. Here's an article President Trump is sending us to. 2021, the year the Great Alignment became a death spiral for Democrats. President Trump's impressive gains with non-white voters have proven the harbinger of a greater shift. Republicans won 2 heavily Hispanic districts in Texas State House this past November, one which went Democrat in the presidential race by 14%. The other one, Democrat Ryan Gillian, switched parties in a district where no Republican had ever won more than 39% of the vote. Democrats have also begun to acknowledge their peril as they have come under fire over their use of the term Latinx. Yeah, they're trying to be hip, and that's not cool. They are losing voters at a speed almost unprecedented, not just in America, but in world history. In 2020, Biden still won Latino voters by a factor of almost 2-1. As recently as this summer, polls showed that advantage falling to a 50-50 split. This fall, as Joe Biden's polling numbers have descended to the basement along with him, his numbers among Latinos have fallen into the Earth's core. Recent polls have Latino voters being less supportive of Joe Biden than white voters as a whole. It's hard to describe the scale of this shift. The last Democrat to win the white vote nationally was Lyndon B. Johnson in 1964 when he won 62% of the white votes overall. Obama in 2008 managed a mere 43%. Biden did only marginally worse in 2020, garnering 42%. Marist College poll finds Biden around that mark among white voters, with 40% approving and 56% disapproving of his job performance. But here's what's happening, right? It's not red, versus blue. It's not Hispanic. It's not black. It's not Asian. It's people with common sense that aren't overly offended by what somebody might say. Okay, so this is the collapse in non-white support for Democrats creates a problem for Democrats, not just in terms of winning elections, but in terms of campaigning. Okay, this is why they are allowing the border to be flooded, because they need more voters, right? This is why they don't want to change the voter rolls, even though there are many dead people on the voter rolls, because dead people always vote Democrat. So this is why they've taken over the elections with this article, with what's going on today. So very, very, very important news coming out of the certainly with the Supreme Court, and also this death spiral of the Democrats. And then President Trump, politics and media have critically corrupted the FBI. The FBI has lost all credibility. A whistleblower just revealed that the agency allegedly investigated parents worried about the teaching of critical race theory in their kids' schools. In truth, since 2015, the FBI has been constantly in the news, mostly in a negative and constitutionally disturbing light. My friends, you ain't seen nothing yet, okay? And I don't think politics and media have critically corrupted them. I think it's the people have corrupted themselves, right? And but this is we already know the FBI is corrupt, right? So what's it going to take for other people to realize that the FBI is correct, right? Oh, by the way, yeah, Polytech's poor healthcare workers abandoned by SCOTUS today. I totally agree. I think it's completely ridiculous. But let's look to Nuremberg via the coercion, right? Right. So we are seeing some really good things. That this is the New York Post saying that the FBI has lost all credibility, and they have. Right? Yeah. Jojo says, how is it not plain that the FBI is correct? And it's all the propaganda. All right, Harry, if they don't see the corruption by now, they never will. Yeah, you're talking, I think, about the people, right? And And so, by the way, what was the vote? Let me go back to that. Does anybody know the vote on the other mandate? Let me see. I'll pull it up again. I missed that part on how they voted. I don't see the vote for the... Okay. 5-4 to lift lower court stays that had halted enforcement of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services emergency regulation, finding the government's challenge to it would probably be successful. The rule now in effect requires more than 10 million employees at healthcare facilities that participate in the Medicare and Medicaid programs to be vaccinated against COVID-19. Now, here's a situation for you. What if one of these organizations says, well, we don't have to do Medicare and Medicaid, so maybe we won't. I mean, some of these are private hospitals, right? Let's see. And also, this is 10 million employees to participate and to be vaccinated. Breyer, Kagan, and Sotomayor sided with the government in the court's opinion in Biden versus Missouri. Two conservatives, Roberts and Kavanaugh, also sided with the government. Roberts and Kavanaugh completely caved. Right? This is tragic. And Thomas wrote a dissenting opinion joined by Alito, Gorsuch, and Barrett. All right? But they lost 5-4. And that's not okay. That's not okay. So basically, it's saying that if you work for the government in these Medicare and Medicaid hospitals that accept it, okay, then you don't have constitutional rights. That's basically what's being said. And that, my friends, is tragic. So gives us a way to see, what's going on here, right? But, if we're concerned about, if we're wondering, like, why don't people see that the FBI is so corrupt, right? And the answer to that is they will. They will in a big, big way, because they're going to find out that the FBI is involved in false flags. They have to. We have to. I'm not going to stop. If Q doesn't come out with that, I'm coming out with it. I'm going to keep saying it. We know for a fact what's going on. Chris says, what happened to your Facebook page? Is Paul Michaels not on right now? Let me see. Yeah, I think Paul Michaels is live. Barbara and 11 others shared a live video. Please share this out, my friends. We're going to have this in 3 different segments tonight. And thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Barbara, for sharing this out. Oh, Sharon lost her husband, I believe, Ken. So sorry, Sharon. That's tragic. Oh, my God. Oh, boy. A lot of people dying, but you know what? Not more people than died a year ago and 2 years ago, right? Yeah. So, Todd, this is kind of like money equals right to dictate anything you want. Awful. This may not fall within the Supreme Court, but that needs to be challenged by the Nuremberg Code, because that's flat out coercion. And the Nuremberg law, by the way, is there because of a U.S. court case. So, yeah, we got that going. So, Paul Michaels is up and running on Facebook, my friends. And if you want to share this out tonight, If you share these two segments, Jen, if you could go through and just find all the people that shared and make sure that we're friends, please. Looking for warriors to spread this news, my friends, and so we're looking to connect on a big way. So let me see. Hold on. Okay. All right. What's the latest with the White House? They're putting up walls around the White House, my friends. We've got some stuff for possibly segment 3 on that. Basically, the law of the military law, war manual that covers that. We've been over that. And so what we've talked about in the past, and I remember doing a meme when they were putting up the fencing, that feeling you get when you realize that the fencing isn't to keep people out, but it's to keep Congress in. So we'll see what these new wall things are up. Nancy Drew has live videos. I saw one of them. If we have another, please send that to me if we have a more recent one. So this is going to, even if it's the jab, even if 10 to 15% of the workforce that it has at this point not taken the vaccine, eliminating that staffing would create serious problems, right? And it already is from what they're saying, and they're blaming it on people that don't get vaccinated. Meanwhile, they need to blame it on those that are violating our constitutional rights, right? Okay. Let me get to. Let's shift gears a little bit. The Queen strips Prince Andrew of all military titles and patronages. Huh. What's going on there? Well, could it be because of this? Because this was yesterday, where a U.S. judge ruled that Prince Andrew's sex assault case can proceed by Virginia Giuffre because she gave up a $500,000 lawsuit to go after him in this lawsuit. Okay? But this happened on 1/12, and this happened on 1/13. What do you think the Queen knows that many people in mainstream do not know? What do you think that is? Could it be possibly that they need to separate themselves from Prince Andrew, meaning the monarchy, because of this scandal? Meanwhile, it's all going to come out. The only thing we're going to be able to enjoy is the fact that a mother actually gave up on her son. Okay? And Giuffre, by the way, waived her rights to sue other defendants. Attorney Andrew Bretler said that she had waived her rights to sue other defendants in related sex crimes committed by Epstein. But she also gave up an opportunity to make $500,000 in order to pursue this, because she had the deal made public for the first time by a New York court this month showed that Giuffre agreed to drop a civil claim against Epstein for $500,000. Okay. And the settlement contained a provision purporting to protect other potential defendants from being sued related to the sexual abuse committed by Epstein. Okay. Prince Andrew's legal team argued that it covered the royal, meaning that previous suit. So they're thinking they're safe because they had that, which covered his ass, right? Okay. The judge noted that Andrew was not a party to the agreement between Epstein and Ms. Giuffre. As the very general manager, the only person who can enforce a provision of a contract are parties to that contract, the people who agreed to it, he wrote. Okay. Giuffre sued the prince for unspecified damages last year, alleging he sexually assaulted her in 2001 when she was a minor under U.S. law. Okay. And that was at Epstein's home in New York and on Epstein's private island in the Virgin Islands. Also, that Giuffre says that he sexually abused her at the London home of Maxwell. Okay. He has not yet been criminally charged, and I stress yet. Okay. And so we'll see. We'll see what's going to go down with all that. This is, think about it, folks. This is as far as it's gotten up the monarch. This is the Queen's son. Charles was a Teflon Don because Charles' stuff that he did with Jimmy Savile was never made it to court or was never made it to the light. Okay. And the other thing is, and Andrews has made it to court and has made it to light. But the other thing is the Queen's actions in Canada at that orphanage where 14 children disappeared. She's never paid the price for that. So that's why, see, she and Charles have to separate themselves from Andrew because he's done. He's going to experience this, and that's going to be a really good thing for justice. Okay. Okay. Now, this is kind of crazy. The Freedom to Vote Act is hidden in a NASA bill. Okay. Biden meets with Senate Democrats in voting rights push. Okay. Biden's White House meeting with Sinema and Manchin on voting rights has ended, the White House told poll reporters. The meeting comes after both Manchin and Sinema made clear publicly today that there has been no alteration in their position against changing Senate rules to clear the way for voting legislation to pass with a simple majority. Okay, and this is what's going on here. Is that NASA Enhanced Use Leasing Extension Act of 2021, that there is, I don't have the, Christy, if you could send me the text on that in a way that outlines their connection with NASA and the voting rights bill, that would be good to have in one little location, just like a little synopsis to talk about that. But this is, make no mistake about it. What we covered here, what did we cover? Where did we cover it? The Voting Rights Act, right? And how they hide these things in other bills, right? But the Voting Rights Act, it's no accident that the actual poll that came out that showed Biden's only got 33% support in the United States, and that article about the white voters versus Latino and so forth, he's dive bombing. And she is too, in their likability and in the job that they're doing. So we have to understand that coming out on the same day that they're trying to control the elections, that's what That's what this is all about. This is all about them staying in power. No two ways about it. This is about them staying in power and how they can best do that. All right. Here's a quick video from Biden. Not going to make you listen to too much of him, but this is an important one and an absurd one.
I make a special appeal to social media. Unfortunately, while our military is stepping up, as they always do, there are others sitting on the sidelines, and we're standing in the way. If you haven't gotten vaccinated, do it. Personal choice impacts us all, our hospitals, our countries. I make a special appeal to social media companies and media outlets. Please deal with the misinformation and disinformation that's on your shows. It has to stop. COVID-19 is one of the most formidable enemies America has ever faced. We've got to work together, not against each other. Unfortunately, while our military is stepping up, as they always do, there are others sitting on the sidelines, and we're standing in the way. If you haven't gotten vaccinated, do it. Personal choice impacts us all.
Personal choice impacts us all. You know what else personal choice impacts? The person making the choice. That's who the person making the choice needs to be honest with, right? Yeah, and how about that? And please stop on your shows. Like these social media companies have these shows.
Our hospitals, our countries. I make a special appeal to social media companies and
special appeal to social media companies,
media outlets.
He's also tipping his hat on a comm to the FCC.
Please deal with the misinformation and disinformation that's on your shows. It has to stop.
On your shows. So he's actually calling the people that run big tech, he's actually calling them their shows, which is absurd as well. But, you know, it is what it is, but it is this so that we can just step it up and do something about it and change something about it. Sean Farash said, I told you about Joe Rogan. I also saw somebody else say something about Joe Rogan. What was it that he said today that was controversial? And please let me know. I think I remember, and I can't remember what the heck it was. I'm sorry. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, he's talking about me. Dixie, yeah. He's talking about us. He's pissed that we know that he's not the same guy. Let's see. Yeah, Karen, we covered the CEO of Pfizer saying that the vaccines don't seem to be very effective, right? Yeah, Jay, things are getting good. Yep, spread love everywhere. Thank you, Bill, for that reminder always. Yeah, he's not our president, Kelly. Definitely not. So Joe Rogan. I didn't play the good stuttering and stammering parts. Yeah, I didn't need to. We know. All right, my friends. So let me get to, I think, are we there? Yeah. So that's the end of the first segment where we cover some of the big stories. And we are going to, I'm going to close down the feed so you can share this. It's just right around it, just a little under an hour. And then come back on, and we're going to have Todd and Cindy on, and we're going to go do the dives, okay? So do us a favor, please share this out when we close it out, and then just give me just a few minutes, and then just come back in. And we'll just keep it going, okay? All right, my friends, love you. I think some of you can even stay in some of the chats, and we will make sure that we'll come back into the room together. I'll do another probably 5-minute quick waiting room, okay? All right. See you shortly. All right. Kind of a new thing we're trying out. So let us know how you like it.